All right, the Indian government just made a pretty significant move in the microfinance world. So in this explainer, we're going to deconstruct the new credit guarantee scheme for microfinance institutions, or CGSMFI 2.0. We're going to go way beyond the headlines to really understand its mechanics, some of its hidden details, and what it actually means for lenders and, most importantly, for borrowers.
This is the number that's been grabbing all the headlines. 20,000 crore rupees. It's a massive figure, right? It's absolutely designed to make a statement and try to bring some confidence back into the market.
But what does a 20,000 crore rupee guarantee really do? I mean, is the government just cutting a giant check? The short answer? No, not at all. The full answer involves a really clever financial mechanism that, frankly, any analyst in this space absolutely needs to understand.
So let's do that. Let's peel back the layers of this whole announcement and get past that big, flashy headline number. We'll start with how this all even came about.
So this right here, this is the official circular from the National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company, or NCGTC. This is the document that formally launched the scheme. But to really get why this was launched, we first have to understand the problem it was designed to solve.
And that core problem was a growing credit freeze that was seriously starting to choke the microfinance sector.
See, for about a year, rising delinquencies, that's just a fancy way of saying borrowers falling behind on their payments, it was making banks really nervous. And what do banks do when they get nervous? They tighten the credit tap. Now, this hits everyone, but it disproportionately crushed the smallest microfinance institutions, the MFIs. And when they can't get funding, it means the last-mile borrower, the small shop owner, the street vendor, they get completely cut off from the credit they need just to survive.
And this is maybe the most crucial point to understand about this whole thing. The government's response is not a bailout. It's a very specific, almost surgical guarantee mechanism, and it's designed to fix a very specific market failure. That distinction is the key to this entire policy.
This brings us right to the core mechanic of the scheme, what we can call a three-layer risk stack. This defines exactly how risk is being shared and managed here.
The whole scheme is built on something called a partial credit guarantee. You can just think of it as a risk transfer mechanism. The government, through the NCGTC, is essentially telling the banks, look, go ahead and lend to these MFIs, and if they default, we've got your back. We'll cover a big chunk of your loss. This completely de-risks the lending and gives private capital a real incentive to start flowing again.
Here's a really powerful way to frame this. The government isn't writing checks, it's writing insurance. It only pays out if there's an actual default. And even then, it only covers a piece of the loss that was agreed upon beforehand. It's an insurance policy for the banks, not some kind of blank check.
This slide just breaks down the flow. So at the very top, you've got the NCGTC providing that insurance, that guarantee. In the middle, you've got the bank or the member lending institution lending money to the MFI. And then at the bottom, the MFI uses that capital to lend to the final borrower. It's a three-layer chain designed specifically to move money to where it's needed most.
Okay, now let's get into the actual design of the scheme, because this is where we find the really clever details.
So the guarantee coverage is tiered. Small MFIs, those with assets under 500 crores, they get 80% of their default covered. But large MFIs with over 2,000 crores in assets, they only get 70% coverage. Now, hang on. Does that seem a little backward to you?
It should. Conventional banking wisdom would tell you to protect the biggest, quote-unquote, safest institutions the most. This scheme does the exact opposite. And that's because the goal isn't just to make lending safe, it's to strategically push capital to the smallest, most vulnerable MFIs, who are most at risk of being completely frozen out of the credit market.
And the scheme even reinforces this with mandatory allocation floors. Banks must, it's not optional, they must ensure that at least 5% of their total lending under this scheme goes to small MFIs, and 10% goes to medium ones. This structure is brilliant because it prevents the largest institutions from just swooping in and absorbing that entire 20,000 crore pool.
But here's the detail that I think most people missed, and it might just be the most important part of the entire scheme. It's a price control mechanism that directly impacts the final borrower.
So here's how it works. First, the interest rate that banks can charge the MFIs is capped at a small margin above their benchmark lending rates. But here's the key part. Any MFI that gets this cheaper funding must cut the rate they charge their own small borrowers by at least 1%. This means the benefit from the government's guarantee has to be passed all the way down the chain.
So now that we understand the mechanics, what are the key things to track over the next 100 days or so?
Well, first, there's the urgency.
This is not a permanent program. It's designed to be a short, targeted intervention that runs for about 100 days, from March 20th to June 30th, or until the full amount is guaranteed. The message from the government is crystal clear. Move fast, or this window is going to close.
So here's your playbook. First, watch which MFIs are able to draw down funding the fastest. That's a great sign of their operational readiness. Second, see if that 5% floor for small MFIs actually gets met. And then, keep a close eye on delinquency trends to see if this fresh credit actually performs. And finally, the big one. Watch to see if the RBI makes these innovative pricing rules a permanent feature of MFI regulation.
Because, after all the talk of tranches and guarantees and allocation floors, it's really easy to forget what this is all about. This is the government's estimate of how many small borrowers will actually benefit from this scheme. 36 lakh people.
Which leaves us with the final and really the most important question. The design is clever, the mechanism seems sound, but after all the paperwork and all the financial engineering, will this policy truly reach the person at the very end of the chain who needs that small loan just to keep their business afloat? That's the real test.